Welcome back to the Broto Fantasy Football Podcast presented by BrotoFantasy.com. I'm your host, Tim Petrop, with my brothers, the only two twins that give you double that fantasy goodness, Michael and Jason Petrop. Welcome to our shortest episode
That's
of
all, folks.
The pod this summer. Welcome back to the summer heat wave. I'm your host, Tim Petrop, here with
Mike.
And
Petrop.
My brothers, of course, the only two twins that are bringing you the shortest podcast in history of the world, because we are looking at the offense of the Redskins.
All
and
right,
I'll tell you
follow us on Patreon.
and I'll tell you for sure that we're gonna look at the offensive outlook, and this is actually the longest one I made because
Why?
there is something to be said about Redskins assistants and them coming up the ranks. Let's not forget Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay, Matt LaFleur.
Kyle.
Do you know what they all?
That's the whole Shanahan tree.
Yeah, except it's not the Shanahan tree. It's the Gruden tree.
Ba-dum-bum.
All right. So the next guy up on the Gruden tree is their brand new offensive coordinator, Kevin O'Connell, former quarterback with the Jets.
I remember Kevin O'Connell.
That's right. QB coach for the Redskins in 2017, then got promoted to the QB coach and the passing game coordinator last year. Passing game coordinator, okay. Promoted to offensive coordinator, just 33 years old. The guy who was offensive coordinator last year, Matt Cavanaugh, stepped aside. And now he's an offensive assistant, which is really weird. Redskins doing things only in the Redskins way.
Timmy's enlightening right now.
Yeah, a little strange, but maybe Kevin O'Connell is the quarterback whisperer that the Redskins need.
The new Sean McVay, Kevin O'Connell.
The odds are that he's not.
Come on.
So let's take a look at their situation. Quarterback, Case Keenum and Dwayne Haskins. Either way, you got lack of experience or lack of skill.
Dwayne Haskins actually has not looked good, according to beat reporters to start the season. So Case Keenum right now has a pretty solid lead as a starting QB. Either way, if you're starting Keenum or Haskins, you are in a very bad spot.
Yeah, or you're in a 3-quarterback league or a 2-quarterback league with a super flex.
Yeah, even then, I probably wouldn't even start them as a super flex.
Tyler Boyd, Dwayne Haskins. Tyler Boyd. Let's go, just like a start. Because if you go quarterback versus Tyler Boyd, you're starting 20 quarterbacks over Tyler Boyd, no? 25 maybe in a super flex?
I love me some Tyler Boyd.
Yeah, me too. I don't know why I picked out Tyler Boyd. Let's go to the wide receiver options with the Redskins. Is there anyone here that you guys would own? I mean, it's tough.
No.
Although
if I had to choose, this right here is one of the odd times where I might choose a rookie wide receiver out of the bunch just because the rest of the pack is just so mediocre that Terry McLaurin is the wide receiver I'm talking about, that Terry McLaurin might separate himself a little bit from these guys. 6'4", 3.5 speed, ridiculously fast. So, I mean, if they try to get him in space, maybe he could break some long ones. Trey Quinn out of the slot. Showed some life last season, 4 for 49 and then 5 for 26 the last 2 games, the only 2 games where he ran a route. McLaurin and Quinn, those 2 guys are probably going the latest. Richardson and Doctson are going ahead of them. But
McLaurin and
guys
Quinn,
I'd rather take a shot on.
McLaurin and Quinn sounds like
a law firm, right?
Nah, it sounds like a party.
That sounds OD like a
party
law
at
firm.
A pub right
Sounds
there.
like a law firm.
McLaurin and Quinn. That sounds like that sounds like someone you want to go drink with. What about Paul Richardson and Josh Doctson? You guys are just off them?
No. There's no way they're going to be reliable.
Yeah, I agree. Let's go over to the running backs. Derris Guice coming back off the injury. What do you think about Derris Guice? Right now, he's going as a 29th running back off the board right now.
The problem,
it's good value though.
The issue is that 29th running back is the 7th round.
6th or
7th round.
That's true.
Which is just way too high for me. Chris Thompson's fully healthy again.
That's a big one. I was just going to ask you about him.
So he's going to be a 3rd down back. He's going to be catching the passes. So that means you're drafting Derris Guice, hoping he is the main early down back, and that the Redskins offense is even good enough to have a running game, really.
Yeah.
And AP is still there. They re-signed him. He had 1,000 yards last season, as crazy as that seems.
Drafted Bryce Love.
They got, I don't know how much Bryce Love is going to, I don't even think Bryce Love, I don't know what's going on with Bryce Love.
Well, I meant that as in, they drafted Bryce Love while Guice is on the team.
Yeah. So Guice at the 7th round ADP is kind of blowing my mind because he's a completely touchdown-dependent option at this point.
And they've showed no hope in him.
And the offense is just really bad.
What about anything?
I like AP as a handcuff. I drafted AP in like the 14th round of the Scott Fish Bowl because Guice was already hurt. If he gets hurt again, They already showed that they're going to give AP the ball over and over. So,
And it's not like Samaje Perine's taking carries from him.
yeah. I mean, I'd be okay taking Guice in like the 10th round. That's where I'd be willing to take a chance. I'm not taking him in the 6th or 7th, though, which is where I see him going.
Yeah, you're definitely not getting him in the 10th round, though. So I guess you're not owning Guice this year.
No.
I haven't in any of the leagues
I will not
thus
have
far.
the poltergeist.
I'm going to say one guy who I think is actually an interesting option here.
Jordan Reed.
Jordan Reed looks and feels better than he ever has. He had an entire season last year where he was healthy for the first time since the big season.
I'm going to move Jordan Reed up my rankings.
He's basically free.
Yeah.
And who are you going to take? Him or Josh Hill or some
And he had
stupid name like that? You
at
might as well
least-
take the shot with him.
At least 50 yards receiving, 3 of his last 4 games last season. 2 of them were over 70 yards. We've seen Jordan Reed be a tight end one in the past. Case Keenum is the QB. He likes throwing tight ends.
That's true.
I'd rather have him than Jimmy Graham, Greg Olson, people like that. Dallas Goedert. Might as well take this chance with Reed.
Yeah, I agree.
If you're looking for a tight end one.
Who's one injury away on this team?
No one.
For me, it's Derris Guice.
Yeah.
If AP or Chris Thompson get hurt and Guice is forced into a larger role.
I agree. I went with Derris Guice because AP needs to get out of the way and Chris Thompson needs to get out of the way. But I think that, look, you have a young draft pick who you spent some draft capital on last year. See what he can do. Bryce Love waiting in the wings, though. So let's see what's up with that. Like we promised, wow, this was the shortest episode.
Of course.
But that's the Redskins this year, or, you know. So if you want to ask us more things about the Redskins, you can find us. Michael, where do they find you? We're at 6.5 minutes.
Holy moly.
Maybe
Michael,
we should just make this a little longer.
Michael, where can they find you?
Mike_Petrop.
Jason?
Jason Petrop.
Honestly, though, I said everything I need to say about the Redskins.
Yeah, same.
Same here.
I don't want to waste my breath.
Well, how much more are we going to say about Paul Richardson?
Yeah.
If you want to know about our thoughts on Paul Richardson, at Tim Petrop on all social media outlets, but only if you're feeling real.
I don't know how
frisky.
often you're going to be talking about Paul Richardson
Yeah,
if they
I
follow
don't-
that account.
Yeah, I
but
don't think I'm going to be talking about
Do
Paul
it
Richardson at all,
anyways.
actually. You can follow us at Broto Fantasy, where we're likely to talk about Paul Richardson maybe once or twice.
Yeah.
And then,
Because we tweet every touchdown.
that's right.
And he might score once or twice.
Any more shameless self-promotion since we have all this time that we have?
Patreon.com/ProtoFantasy.
So Patreon.
Yeah.
I said Patreon.
No, you didn't.
It's a Patreon.
100% said Patreon. Help me out, folks,
We're not
when you
gonna
listen
do
to
this
this,
right
all
now.
right?
Let's just end
This
it.
is what Michael does all the time. He says weird things, and then he says he doesn't
This is what
see
we
them.
do when we don't have football to talk about.
YouTube.com/BrotoFantasy, Twitter, BrotoFantasy, Instagram, BrotoFantasy, YouTube.com/BrotoFantasy, Patreon.com/BrotoFantasy, BrotoFantasy.com for all of that put into one. We will see you tomorrow.
Later.